Yo, what's up? It's Remy. So I wanted to do a brief kind of unedited screen share tutorial on how to build a paid subscription membership community. So earlier last week, I actually came up with an idea to make a kind of like an invite-only community for marketplace founders, teams, and leaders. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I'm pretty much obsessed with marketplaces. A lot of what I do is talking about building and launching marketplaces, working with other marketplaces, and even kind of investing in marketplaces. So the community was probably like long overdue. But earlier last week, I just wanted to basically just build this initial kind of prototype of the community and just kind of get it started. And of course, do so using no code and minimal time and resources. So I did that. You can actually see it live on the domain everythingmarketplaces.com. And this is the kind of screen share right here. But basically, the tool stack is Card, LaunchPass, and LaunchPass is basically to collect subscriptions for it, and all that functionality. And then we actually use Slack for the actual community in itself. So I just want to kind of go through just very briefly, just as far as like how that's actually set up. So hopefully you can kind of see how easy it is to build a paid subscription community yourself, and hopefully build a valuable community. So let's just get started and jump right into it. So here's the actual landing page for it. As I mentioned, everythingmarketplaces.com. I just want to keep it pretty minimal, clean design, and just very basic. So I didn't want to make it hard to kind of run it either. So it's really basic right here. As you can see, we'll just go back up. So it's basically, here's like the main kind of like tagline. So it's a group sharing insights and everything about marketplaces together. And of course, that kind of ties in nicely with the domain everythingmarketplaces.com. So we'll see these two kind of call to action buttons that we have. So this is like request access or learn more. So to learn more is simply a jump link right here. So it's just on page. It describes what you get by subscribing to this community. So you get the global community, which is of course like the Slack group, a lot of content. So I do a lot of content, of course, on my YouTube and then writing. So I'm going to do exclusive content for members. Go to support. So since it's other marketplace founders that have a lot of deep domain expertise and insights, of course, it's like support from other founders and then also for me. Group hangouts. So we're going to do like group kind of Zoom hangouts, and then also deals and discounts for like tools, services, and pretty much everything you need to run your marketplace. So that's pretty simple right here. So actually for these icons, I'll kind of show you in a little bit, but these are actually just icons I pulled from Snappa. So fairly straightforward, didn't have to use any kind of design or anything for that. Right here is kind of like a newsletter. So just wanted to collect some newsletters so that way we could start like a mailing list. And that is kind of like cool. It looks like a kind of like a hand-drawn kind of font type right here. And the footer is pretty basic. So over here, we basically have like the team. So of course, it's a ThinkBox product, so it links to the ThinkBox website, request access. These login member links and member resources are kind of like dead links right now because I haven't really built out all the full functionality. And then the contact just opens up an email. So we'll just go up here. So the request access is actually the same as this request access right here. So let's just go to it. So that's actually on everythingmarketplaces.com and then /join. So as you can see right here, so this is basically like the subscription page. So we do a 3-day free trial and then $49 a month. So we also have like a coupon code right here. So this is all the trial, and then the subscription functionality is made possible using LaunchPass. So I'll also get into that in a little bit. But I just wanted to run through this kind of like basic demo, so that way when I jump into each tool, you can kind of have a little bit of reference and context to where it is on the live URL. But here's a coupon code right here. I'll actually just enter get 50 since that's an active code, and you can see that it's applied. So there's like the pop out. So we'll go down here. So we'll just kind of continue going down. All right, so I basically copied the homepage kind of what you get when you access the community. I just dropped those in right here too. That way if someone just comes to this page, they see it. And then this is fairly basic, so it's just like another section. And then the of course, like the footer right here. So we'll just go back to the homepage. So these pages, so the homepage and then the request access page, or where users actually select the free trial and then enter their payment information for a subscription. These are both using card. So we're just going to jump into card now and just walk through the actual build. So I'm already in my card account, and this is a project that I started right here. So if you're familiar with card, this will be fairly straightforward, but at the top, I just have a section up here. Um, uh, so this is a home, so you can see that right there. Here's like a text block. So these are all, this is a container and then just like a text block. That's not like a logo or anything. It's actually just like plain text for logo. This is obviously the text right here. And then as you can see when I'm hovering, hopefully you can see that, this like little header section is a container in itself. And so these are just like two different texts right here that are dropped in. And then the buttons to basically to space them like this is a container. And you can see right here, so it's actually a 4-column container. And then the bottom, or sorry, the two on the right are actually empty containers. So when I click on the button right here, so if you're new to card, then this will be all new to you. But basically, to add these buttons, you would actually go up here to add an element, and then you would just select on the button, and then it would drop in right there. And then so we're going to click on it right here. So you could change the label. So as you can see, request access. And then once again, when you click on that, that takes you to the request access or join page for the subscription. So over here, the URL is just that's the join right here. So that just links to the other page. So it's fairly straightforward. There isn't any kind of customization. It's just like it's of course like the colors, and then the corners kind of rounded and whatnot. But this learn more right here, as you'll see. So it actually goes down to the learn more kind of section. So that's on that same page right here. So this is actually an image. So I just created an image with this kind of font type. So that way it looks kind of like hand drawn in Snappa. Save that and then dropped it in here as an actual image. So we'll just kind of keep going down. So this is actually a container with a gray background and then just like simple text in it. So it's fairly straightforward for that section right below. I actually added this right here so you can see the learn more. So it's actually like a scroll, on page scroll. So once again, when you click on that top button that's in the header for the learn more, it just kind of drops down to this section. So what this does is then basically this section that I added to the page, it just kind of navigates down to this kind of these two different sections, and which is basically anything below it. So it's fairly straightforward, and it's very easy to get a hang of once you just understand the kind of like main controls and functionalities of card. So right here, we'll just kind of keep going down. So these are actually just 4-column kind of containers that I added. Then I added different elements in here. So this is text over here, which is like you'll get access to. This image right here, which kind of would be like an icon, is actually just an image that I created in Snappa. So I just searched for, I think it was like globe in Snappa, found the icon, centered it, saved it as an image. And then I basically have like 3 different kind of elements within this column of this container. And the top, of course, is an image. And so these are all aligned properly and spaced properly. But they're all just different image files that I actually just created in Snappa, saved, and then of course just added them as individual kind of elements to the card, to this page right here in card. So this kind of container below is kind of the same as the top up here. So you could basically actually just duplicate it. So we'll just go up here. So you would click on this, kind of make a copy of this element. I actually did that, and then I just dragged it down here below, and then I just added an element for the email. So as far as like the newsletter email capture right here, so this is like a form, and then I just kind of edited that. I actually dropped an image below it too, once again, for this kind of like almost like hand-drawn kind of font type. And then below it is actually just another container, and then these are individual kind of elements that are added as text in it. Of course, this is like another kind of like 4-column layout. So that's the homepage. It's fairly straightforward. Pretty much all the functionality of the homepage is either these 2 primary call to actions where the request access then links to another page, and then the learn more is basically just a scroll down on page kind of elements. This kind of subscribe, when you actually enter your email, it just has like an on-page kind of confirmation, so it doesn't route anywhere or do anything. Down here, as I mentioned, when I was initially just kind of walking through the actual live website, our team just links, as you'll see right here, it just links to the ThinkBox website. And then that request access, as you can see, just links to, so these are all text. This links to like the join page. And then the need help, then this is just like linked text that just pops out like an email client and contact@thinkbox.io. So now we're going to go down and we're just going to see how I created the page for the join or the subscription. So I added this element for like the back to go back to the home page. This right here is just a container with text. Now where we get into some actual kind of functionality with LaunchPass is that button that you can see, we'll just click on it right here. So start trial and join. That button is actually an embed from LaunchPass, so it's fairly straightforward. So I just clicked on this element and then add code right here. So it's just the type is either iframe or code. So that was code. And then you can actually see down here, right? So this is what I got as an embed from LaunchPass, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But basically, to create that button and functionality it's as simple as just embedding this code right here. So the kind of text below it is once again like an image. And then as I mentioned, I just kind of copied, just made a copy of the different containers from the homepage and added those right here. So let's just get into LaunchPass really quickly, and that way you can kind of see how I completed the main user functionality for everythingmarketplaces.com. So I signed up for LaunchPass. It's fairly straightforward. You can actually just sign up using our Slack account. So I actually did that. And then it basically brings you here, so you can create like a free group or a paid channel. I'd already created a paid group, so that option isn't available. But basically, this is it right here. As you can see, the price I put is $49. So here is the embed, right? So as I mentioned, when you go back to card, you can see that the button is embed right here. So this is actually where I got it. So the button I just copied right here. I had to change a little bit, so I think I changed the where is it right here? So I think it was like the margin, or sorry, no, the text align I changed from center to left, and then I think the margin too within there. But basically, it's fairly straightforward, so you can just simply embed it. One other note is I actually did have to then add, you'll see right here, the embed for some more kind of JavaScript that I had to add. The script right here. So you can see that. So when it says copy the clipboard and place it at the bottom, we'll see how we did that in card. It's actually right here. So it is just hidden and it's at the body end, but it is the same thing. It's a type as code, and it's just an element, an embed element that you can add right here. So where it is it's below this kind of bottom container section and then right above the footer. But of course, since it's hidden, then on the user side, you actually don't see that, right? So that's just simply what's kind of required with LaunchPass. So I actually hadn't seen LaunchPass before this, but I actually just Googled how to make a paid Slack channel, and this was the first thing that came up. So I simply just created an account and then just created the paid group. And this is it right here, as I mentioned. So we'll just get into this. So let's just edit it so you can see how I set it up. So this is basically, you can select right here the amount that you want to charge. So I entered $49, you can see monthly, but the options that I could have done were annual, semi-annual, quarterly, weekly, or one time. And then of course the free trial functionality is as simple as just selecting this 3-day rate. Also a yearly option, so that way when people click on the modal on the page, let's just shift refresh so it kind of clears it. But you'll actually be able to see that option. So on this kind of Stripe modal, here's the monthly right here. Actually, yeah, I need to fix that because there should be an option to pay the annual right there with the discount. But the user should have an option to pay the $4.90 right there. So all of this kind of text is actually, and then you can see like coupons enabled, so that generated that right there on the home page, or sorry, the join page. I'm just going to paste this in here so you can see this. Actually, I need to kind of go back to this. All right, we're a little bit slow to load, so you have to bear with me. All right, so we're going to go back because there is something that's pretty cool on LaunchPass that I'm going to share. So here we go. So we're opening in a new window. So LaunchPass, when you create that kind of paid subscription, they actually generate a landing page for you. So as you can see right here, this is the page that was generated using that kind of information that I input with that configuration. So this is where, of course, you can click on, or sorry, select the monthly or yearly, then that populates the amount right here. Since it is a free trial though, you simply enter your credit card information, and then of course you have free access to the Slack community then for 3 days, and then you're billed. So LaunchPass is fairly straightforward. I don't actually haven't gotten into like a lot of the super advanced kind of functionality of it, but it seems to do the job right now. And the support from the team using this kind of intercom help chat, because they did have a few questions, has been great so far. So let's just kind of go back to it. So here's the URL, once again, everythingmarketplaces.com. Now, I do want to kind of walk through the flow on as far as what the user experience is once they do click on request access and they enter their payment information, and how they actually join the community, because that's probably what you're thinking right now or asking yourselves. All right, so on the redirect, once they pay, this is the page that they go to. So it's kind of like a little welcome page, and basically I wanted to make it super simple, or first off, clear that they're on a 3 free day trial, right? Because we don't want to have people that are confused about that and basically dispute a payment or anything. So I put the steps down here. So the first step is to join the Everything Marketplace Slack. So it's actually just a link to the Slack. So there's a setting in LaunchPass where when they enter their email, it will then allow them access to Slack. And I might do another kind of tutorial video just walking through how I actually set up Slack, but it's fairly straightforward. So it just gives people access to the Slack, and there's a few channels that are in there, and basically all the benefits are accessible from our Slack channel. So that's where the entire kind of community runs on. Now, the second thing, as I did kind of indicate on the homepage, is that there's deals for members, right? So how people can access that is by clicking on this link. So here's the member deals and discounts page. So I just kind of mentioned it right there. So it's just fairly straightforward as far as the whole kind of design of it. I have to finish setting up the Airtable. We'll shift refresh so it loads. But basically, for people to access these deals and how they'll display to them, is it's just going to be an embed of an Airtable. And so I can input all the deals in an Airtable, and that way users will easily be able to see them and then access the deals, of course. So here's like a placeholder right here. So of course, share tribe. So you can kind of see right here. So I would just mention the deal right here, the promo code. And then that way members of the community could then access this deal and get that kind of savings. So we'll actually just kind of go back. So that's where they would access the deals. I'm actually going to add some more links right here to some of the other kind of resources, such as all the content, maybe some of the Zoom kind of hangouts that we'll record and kind of put right there. So that's where this will be. It'll kind of be linked. Then I also kind of link to it right here in the membership and in the footer right here in the member deals. So that way, once they do sign up, then they'll have access via these links. But of course, if they're not on a subscription, then I want to kind of hide that from the main homepage and everything. So then the third thing is what I'm actually doing is just kind of like 30-minute introductory calls and kind of like help sessions with all the members of our group. So I basically, I mentioned that right here, and then I send an automated Slack message to all the new members of our community once they enter the Slack and enter our community, so that way they can easily schedule a kind of call or a kind of hangout with me. And then the other thing, of course, is to recommend other founders, right? So it's fairly straightforward. Right here is the whole kind of group. I believe I have another page, though, I do want to show. So basically what I'm going to do with this group is just use Card as far as the kind of all the different pages. And then I'm going to use LaunchPass to handle the subscriptions and the kind of the payments of that. And then I'm going to use Slack as the entire kind of community where everyone is actively engaged. But maybe, say, for instance, I want to share some kind of content and have an easy way to put it all together so it's not, one place and it's not multiple messages in Slack. Well, I'm going to then create just simple landing pages using Card, and then that way I can share the URL within the group, and then people will then be able to click on this, on the landing pages and access things. So for instance, one of the things that I'm doing is kind of creating this like main directory. So that way I can have different kind of tools, say for instance, like ID verification, service providers, like, if people are looking to offer insurance for their marketplace, or even some kind of other different needs, but basically just make it one kind of place where marketplace founders can pretty much access everything they need in order to run their marketplace. So as you can see right here, here's a few of the kind of like placeholder tools and then service providers. So you'll see like ShareTribe right here, Checker, which is a great kind of background API. We have like a Founder Shield, which offers insurance, and then a few other kind of like tools and platforms. So what I plan to do for this is just embed Airtable views. So that way it's super easy to then, they can kind of click on it, kind of see more information right here. We'll probably have like member ratings, and I'll just kind of build out some more functionality on that. Because of course I want to make this a trusted community, and everything that we have here be highly recommended by everyone. Then, of course, if anyone in the group is at one of these companies, they want to add their company to our group, so that way people can see their company, tool listed here or service. It's just simply I added a button here, and it's just a link to an Airtable add your tool or service to the embed. So it's fairly straightforward. So we'll just go back. So basically, this is an entire community, and I do want to say a paid subscription community that's built using no code. So once again, it's built using Card, LaunchPass, and then Slack. And of course, we'd use Airtable for some embed views. But I just want to do this as just a kind of like a quick unedited screen share tutorial. So that way you could see how I set up everythingmarketplaces.com and did so without using any code. And then hopefully if you have any ideas for, building a community that you think is needed and valuable to others, you can also use these tools or other kind of no-code tools and platforms and do so yourself. So yeah, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, definitely comment in the questions below, because I try to read all the comments and make new videos based off what you guys want to see, or yeah. So anyways, hit the subscribe, and until the next video, see ya.